Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Crystal Flaffy, and today we're actually going to be talking about two different mons in today's video. We're going to be talking about Cotteen and Mildew. Reason we're doing both of them in one is because Fire, Water, Wood, Cotteen, and Mildew all have the same skills, so this way we can compare the two rather than having people watch two separate videos. We'll just put it all together in one. So first, of course, as always, we will start with fire. And let's go all the way down. These are the first Natus we're talking about. And reason for it is because Natus are, well, some Natus are usable. Normally people will just look at the amount of stars they have and be like, oh, this must be bad, it's only 2 stars. But no, they can get really good. So actually some Natus, like Water Cotteen, is one of the best healers for water. One of. But anyway, we will get into that when we get to water. So here we have Fire Cotteen, Evo 1. We'll start with the Cotteens first because they came out first. So yeah, here's Evo 1, and Evo 2, and Evo 3. All very, very cute. Here's the variant. I just noticed it has devil horns. I don't know if the other ones do. I didn't even notice that. But I like the regular one. And let's get the stats up to 6 stars. By the way, I should mention there are no light or dark Cotteen, but there is light and dark Mildew. We'll also talk about both of those in this video. But we won't be able to compare to Cotteen, obviously, because it doesn't exist. 433, get on that. We need some LD Cotteens. Anyway, oh wait, stats first. So for Fire Cotteen, you see we got some pretty good HP for a Nat 2, a Nat 2 recovery type. And her, I'm just going to say her, because I feel like the Cotteens are female. I don't think there's anything saying a specific gender for them. But anyway, recovery is pretty good as well. The defense is low, but that's to be expected from a Nat 2. The only thing that we should expect from the Natus is their overall stats would be a bit low, but they can still do work, even with that low defense stat. And then looking at the skills, so for the leader skill, it's Azure Spirit's Blessing, Blue Soul Recovery 10 to 15%. Leader skill is it's essentially useless. You're not going to be using any of the Cotteens for their leader skills. So yeah, should point that out. On 3-star, there's Sap, 60% one type, one turn. Skill books do bring it up to 70% and give an extra turn and a 10% damage boost. But again, the Sap isn't very helpful. You're not using Fire Cotteen for her Sap. You're using her for her 5-star, which is a 3-turn attack up, which is really good. Besides Mildew, the only other fire attack up mon that I can think of off the top of my head is Cupid, and of course Cotteen and Mildew are far more obtainable than Cupid, so they're starting out. You should build up a Cotteen or a Mildew, and then later on you'll probably want to upgrade to Cupid when you can start getting Evo 3s of those, even Evo 2s. But Cotteen, definitely a good use until you can do that. Where you'd want to use it, Titans. Fire Cotteen and Fire Mildew, both really only usable in Titans. And how I would build them. For Cotteen, I would probably go... You can go HP Defense Recovery, which is the typical recommended set or build for healers in general. Though I feel like in Fire Cotteen's case, HP Defense is quite viable if you get recovery subs or on a recovery set, just because her recovery is decent. And her defense is very low, so she needs quite a bit of investment there. But definitely, if you would prefer HP Defense Recovery, you can definitely do that. I believe mine is built HP Defense Recovery, and of course I will show my mons after, as always. But anyway, let's go to Fire Mildew to compare the stats and whatnot. Anyway, here's the Evo 1. Very cute. Evo 2. And Evo 3. And then here's the variant. I like the regular one. Yeah, I like the regular. And and also a recovery type. And now if we compare the stats, I believe Cotteen had higher defense, and I believe it had higher defense, recovery, and HP, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see, 26.5 pretty much, 14, and 24. So yeah, overall higher stats from Cotteen. Of course, Mildew's stats attack is much higher, but its attack is really unnecessary. You're not using it for damage at all. So then looking at the skills, they are the same. Everything's the same except leader skill, of course, which is recovery up, 20 to 25%, which is useful. You can use recovery up for your Titan teams if you don't have good recovery stats on your mons, or if you just don't have good other leaders. But of course, you'd rather have something like attack up, crit rate up, HP up, defense up, crit damage up. Anything like that would definitely be better. But if you don't have any of those, recovery up is fine because it'll help your healers out a little bit more. I do not know what Fire Mildew's skill books are. I did try to, because for Fire, I forgot to mention, for Fire, Cotteen, and Mildew, the only way to obtain them is to summon them. They are not. You can't go catch them. You can catch water and wood for both, but you can't. For Fire, you have to either summon it from an egg, or I know Fire Cotteen you can get from the Shady Shop. I don't know if you can for Mildew. You probably can. I just don't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, I summoned like 150 low eggs trying to get a Fire Mildew, and I did not get one. So I can't say the books on that, but I can assume, because based on the other Mildews, that it'll have a 35% recovery up on the 5-star. As for the 3-star, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Sorry about that. So yeah, anyway, that's it for the Fire ones, for Fire Cotteen and Mildew. How I would build the Fire Mildew, I would recommend HP defense over HP defense recovery, just because its defense is very low, so it does need a lot of investment. Just make sure to get recovery subs. And I should note that for both Fire, Cotteen, and Mildew, you don't really need to invest in resist, just because the Wood Titan doesn't have strong debuffs, so you don't really need resist on them, so you'd want to focus on defense, HP, and recovery subs. So there's that. Overall, just to a final comparison between the two, in terms of stats, Cotteen is superior. In terms of leader skill, Mildew is. As for books, I can't say on that because I don't know Fire Mildew's books. If somebody can let me know, I'll make sure to I'll make sure to put a final comparison for the two of them in the comments, and I'll pin that so people can see it. But anyway, let's move on to water. Now, as I said, Water Cotteen is one of the best healers in the game, for water. Even early on, even now, I still use my Water Cotteens. I have 3 of them that I use, whereas I only use 1 Fire Cotteen, and I don't use Fire Mildew. And then I use a Water Mildew as well. It's also really good, but they're meant for different things. Or not meant for different things. It depends, because between the two of them, their animation speed is very different. I forgot to mention that earlier. So Cotteen has a very slow animation on its 3-star, whereas Mildew has a very fast one. The reason that is important is for exposed weakness. So when you're building your teams for your Titan mons, like for me, for my water team, for my water mons to use against Fire Titan, on the left side I have my Water Siegfried and my Water Mildew. And the reason for that is Siegfried will land the expose, and because Mildew's attack is fast, it won't steal the exposed weakness. And the rest of the mons that I have on that left side are also fast, so none of them also steal Siegfried's exposed weakness. And then on the right side, I have my Water Belrona, who has a fast 3-star animation, who can take that exposed weakness to double her damage. And if you don't have Water Belrona, Water Sandwraith also has a fast 3-star animation with his unflinching strike, so that's another thing you can do there. I just wanted to let you guys know that. And then on the right side, I have my Water Cotteen, who has a slow animation, so she won't steal the exposed weakness as well. So just figured I should point that out so that you guys know that animation speed matters sometimes, especially between the two of them. But anyway, here's Water Cotteen, the regular and the variant. The variant is pink and super. They're both super kawaii. Anyway, let's get to the stats. So, Water Cotteen is a recovery type, and she has really good HP. It is higher than both Fire Mildew and Fire Cotteen by a decent amount. I believe it's like 4k higher. And just in general, it's a really high HP stat for a Nat 2 that is not a tank type. So yeah, that's something to note. Her recovery is good as well, and her defense is decent too. It's really low, but for a Nat 2 non-defender, it's decent. It's about the same as Fire Cotteen's was. And then looking at the skills, so we have Shield Breaker on 3-star, and it gets a 25% damage boost from books. And then Defense Up on 5-star for 3 turns, gets a 25% recovery boost there. Where you'd want to use Water Cotteen, so out of the Cotteens and Mildews for Fire, Water, Wood, Water Cotteen is the one you can use in more than one place. The others really only have one use. So you can use Water Cotteen for, obviously, against the Fire Titan. She's a really good defense up healer. Her slow animation is great for timing with exposed weakness. And yeah, just 3-turn defense up is really good. The only other, besides Mildew, the only other defense up water healer is Water Bast, which is infinitely better than both Cotteen and Mildew, but she's very hard to obtain, or very rare. I don't have Water Bast, so I use Cotteen's and Mildews in her place. If I ever get one, I will replace them, but that's the only mon that I would replace Cotteen and Mildew with. So yeah, that's it for them. And you can also use them for Fire Colossus. If you don't have the mons to nuke it, their shield break is very useful. And then here we are with Mildew, which honestly, between Cotteen and Mildew for Fire Colossus, I would use Mildew just because his 3-star animation's faster, so it'll speed up your run by a few seconds, which isn't a big deal at all, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's just personal preference. But anyway, let's look at the stats. Sorry, I had to pause for a moment, someone was playing loud music. Anyway, so here's Water Mildew. There's the variant. I like the variant, I guess. I don't know. None of them really grab at me, you know? But anyway, let's look at the stats. So the HP is a lot lower than Cotteen's by about 4k. And then defense is actually a lot higher by like 600. Sorry, I just hit my desk by accident. And the recovery is a lot lower. So it's a defender, not a recovery type. Didn't notice that at first. Overall, though, HP and defense are really good for a Nat 2. Recovery is low, but that's fine. But yeah, let's go to the skills. They're the exact same. I do know the skill book values for this one because I do have a Water Mildew. Where's my notes? Okay, so it gets a 35% damage boost on 3-star and a 35% recovery boost on 5-star. So that 35% recovery boost on 5-star is actually really nice to help mitigate its low recovery stat. And if I were to build it, HP defense recovery, it does need a full recovery gem just because its recovery is pretty low. Otherwise, it won't be healing much. So yeah, HP defense recovery is definitely what I'd recommend. So yeah, final comparison between the two. Cotteen does have a lot higher HP, whereas Mildew has a lot higher defense. So overall, I feel like Mildew might be more survivable if you were to gem them the same way. Like, say they're both gemmed HP, defense, recovery. Mildew would be more survivable, but he would be healing less. Which can be mitigated by his recovery up leader skill, of course. But again, you'd want to use other leader skills like damage up leader skills or survivability leader skills. But yeah, between the two, I'd say use both, just because their animation speeds are very different. So it just depends on your team composition. And now let's move on to wood. Wood is definitely the least desirable of the fire, water, wood. Typically, people will just use it for food. Personally, I recommend at least getting it to Evo 3 for the Astro Guide. But yeah, anyway, it does still have some use that I didn't really think about until I was writing my notes for this. So it's interesting, So here we have wood Cotteen. And here is the variant. So it's like an autumn variant and then a summer or spring variant, version, whatever. Looking at the stats, it has really good HP and it's decent recovery, or good recovery, and very low defense. Very, very low defense. Then let's go to the skills. We have Taunt on 3-star, 40% one turn. Skillbooks bring it up to 60% and give a 10% damage boost. And then Purification on 5-star, which gets a 25% recovery boost from books. For those that don't know what Purification is, which is understandable because it's barely mentioned and barely used, it just clears all debuffs that you have on you. So defense down, sap, attack down, blind, any of that. It gets rid of all of it. And there's a reason that it's not used very much, and that's because it doesn't really have much place where it can be used. Against Titans, you don't really want Purification. You want defense up, shield, and attack up. Those are the most desired buffs there. In PvP, the only buff that you're going to want in PvP would be a shield or dominance. Those are the only two there that see much use. Attack up too, but to an extent. You don't really want an attack up healer in PvP. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. The place, though, that I did realize you can use it is against the Water Colossus. The Water Colossus is all about laying saps down on you. That's what it's going to do. That's its purpose, and that's what will take you out. And Purification helps with that. It clears all those saps that you got building up on you. So yeah. And then also being a wood mon, I'm pretty sure this is like the only wood Purification mon that there is in the game. This and Mildew, I believe. I don't know if there's any other. I could be wrong though. So yeah, it can have a purpose there in Water Colossus and is very easy to obtain. I haven't tried it myself, but it's interesting. It could work, in theory. The taunt is useless. You won't be using it for its taunt at all. Just for that Purification against the saps on Water Colossus. So maybe building it for that, And for that, you don't need to build it with recovery, so like you can just go HP, defense, just to get as survivable as possible. The recovery doesn't matter too much. So yeah, that's what I would do with that. And let's go to Mildew to compare. So here's the wood Mildew. And here's the variant. I like the regular one. The variant is too, swampy. Yeah. So looking at the HP is lower by about 3k. Its defense is higher by about 300, I think. And its recovery is higher as well. So I would use it for the same place. It has the same skills, though it does get different book values. The taunt goes to 70% and gets a 10% damage boost. So overall the taunt is better, though the taunt is still useless, so it doesn't matter. And then he gets a 35% recovery boost on his 5-star, which is good. So he'll be healing more than the Cotteen does. Overall, he'll be healing a lot more, but he is less survivable. Actually, I don't know. Let's look at Cotteen's defense again. So HP is 28,000 28k here, and then defense is 1700. So here we have Cotteen, who's at 31k HP, and then 1400 defense. So it's a toss-up, I guess. I don't know which. They're probably about the same in terms of survivability, but Mildew does heal more. And he has a faster animation, so it would just speed up your runs by a few more seconds, you know? So, between the two, if you were to use it for Water Colossus, which is the only place where I can see this mon being usable, I would go with Mildew over Cotteen. So yeah, that is it for the Fire, Water, Wood, between comparing them. Just a final, like, say, I would definitely go with Wood Mildew over Cotteen. For Water, it's a tough one. I would use both just because of their animation speeds being so different. But if you don't have exposed weakness on your lineup, then I would go Cotteen. I would go to Cotteen and like HP defense with recovery subs. Keep in mind though, if you do have it in the front line, you're going to need a lot of resist, just so you don't get those saps piling up on you. In between fire and wood, between both fires, that one is a toss-up as well, just because I don't know the skillbook values for Fire Mildew. And their stats are relatively similar. But anyway, let's end this off, or not end this off, let's go to Light and Dark Mildew just to talk about them real quick. So here we have Light Mildew. Here's the variant. I like the regular. It is a defender, and it has pretty good HP for a Nat 2 non-tank type. And its defense is a lot higher than the other mons that we've seen in this video so far, which is good. Its recovery is very low, but it doesn't matter. You don't want this thing for recovery. Looking at its 3-star, it is Adrenaline, 10% of its own max HP to the team. So it's the same 3-star as, say, Water Persephone or Fire Sanzang. And then on 5-star, it has Dominance. Skillbooks does give a 35% damage boost on its 3-star and a 35% recovery boost on its 5-star. So again, these books don't matter too much because it's not meant to be healing, and it's not meant to be... well, not that it's not meant to be healing, it's just not meant to be healing with its 5-star. And then it's not meant to do damage. Its purpose is to heal the team with its 3-star as a passive healer, and then the Dominance to keep the enemy from getting their bars full. So that's what its use is. Where you'd use it, PvP. I have seen them on defense teams in place of things like Water Persephone or Fire Zanzing for those people that don't have them. And then also it does have use in GB10 for those that don't have, again, Water Persephone or Fire Zanzang, just as a light tank and passive healer. And if I were to build it, I would definitely go HP, just so you get the most out of its 3-star. But HP defense is viable if you have HP subs on that defense gem, because you do want its HP as high as possible so it is healing the most it can with its 3-star. And then if you're using for PvP, keep in mind you do need a decent amount of resist, whereas for GB10 you don't need resist. Which getting resist up for it shouldn't be too difficult considering it is a light healer, and light and dark healers do have base 30 resist, so there's that to keep in mind as well. So overall, I'd say it is a really good mon. It is one of the best Nat 2s for PvP, at least from light and dark. Yeah, out of the light, it is the best 2-star for PvP. And maybe for dark as well. We'll see. There aren't much Nat 2s that are good for PvP, but Light Mildew and Dark Mildew are both 2 exceptions to that rule. Let's find it real quick. Here we are. Here's the Dark Mildew. Bring up its stats. And let's look at the variant. I like the regular because it's purple. It is a recovery type. It has pretty good HP. And its recovery is good as well. Its defense is pretty low. Well, it is low. It is very low. It'd be nice if it was a bit higher. Anyway, let's get to the skills. On 3-star, it is a morale boost, 30% to itself. Skill books give a 35% damage boost. And then on 5-star, it is a shield healer. It is a 2-turn flat shield, which is a base of 10k HP, I believe. Skill books bring it up to 3 turns and give a 20% recovery boost. Keep in mind though, even though the shield is for 3 turns with books, because its HP is so low at only 10k, it will go down quickly. It'll probably last a turn or 2. It won't last 3 turns usually. But anyway, it's definitely a PvP healer. Don't really see it being used anywhere. Well, actually, never mind. It can be used in Titans just as a shield healer. Shield healers are useful in Titans. Very useful. And I forgot to mention, another thing about Mildew is that it is an auto-cast healer. So as soon as it gets its bar full, whether or not your team's HP is low, it will use its heal, which is really good for shield healers. It's really good for shield healers especially, because you can, at the start of the match against the Titan, if it gets its bar full, it can put up its, if you have it on the right side, let's say. If you have it on the right side, it gets its orb the first turn, so then the second turn it throws up the shield, and when the Titan goes to hit it, the shield will completely protect your team, and they will not get whatever debuff the Titan has on its initial attack. That is something that is especially useful against, say, Water Titan with its seal. I use my Wood Cherry for that purpose. I have my Wood Cherry on the right side, and if she gets the bar full on the first turn, she'll put up the shield, and then the Water Titan will hit my mons. The shield will protect them, and they won't get sealed, which is very convenient, since that seal makes your mons useless for 2 turns. So that is something to keep in mind there. I don't think it is super useful against the other Titans. Let's see. Light Titan's first attack is attack down. Dark's is silence, so it is useful against Dark Titan, because you don't want your mons to get silenced, so they can't use their, say, if they have only their Courageous Strike on their 5-star, you don't want them silenced, or else they can't use that for like 2 turns. Against against fire, it's not that big of a deal, because the thirst is only 1 turn. And let's see. But it is still really useful there. And then against the wood, it has use against all except really light, but all to different extents. It's really good against water, though, specifically, in my opinion. And then, of course, for PvP, just to be spreading its shield, it is pretty much a worse Dark Bast. Bast also has a 30% morale boost on 3-star, and then a shield on 5-star, though her stats and the shield are much better. I'm pretty sure her shield is HP based, and then she has a lot higher HP, defense, and attack overall than Mildew. But Dark Bast is very rare, of course, so Dark Mildew is usable in her place. But yeah, that is pretty much it. If I were to prioritize them all between Fire, Water, Wood for Cotteen, I would definitely go Water, Fire, Wood. And then for Mildew, I would go Water, Light, Dark, Fire, Wood. So yeah, that's how I would prioritize them. I don't have Light or Dark built for Mildew, but I can show off I have Water Mildew built, and then I have Fire Cotteen and 3 Water Cotteens built, so I can show off all of those. So here's my Fire Cotteen. I don't use her for the Wood Titan anymore. I use her for Light Titan on the right side, and then so she doesn't, because of her slow animation, she won't be stealing the exposed weakness that comes from the left side with my Light Sherlock. And I believe she's HP, defense, recovery. Okay, there you go. And I just noticed this gem has a lot of defense, so that's really good. It's very helpful considering her really low base defense. Then let's see. Here we have Water Mildew. I haven't fully booked it yet. I'm very low on gold, so I'm not going to do that right now. But he doesn't really need books anyway. It just helps a little bit, but not too much. Anyway, here's the gems. HP, defense, recovery. Or no, HP, defense, HP. I don't have a recovery gem on him. How did his recovery get so much of a boost then? Am I crazy or something? Wait, oh yeah, it does have a recovery gem. I can't read today. Anyway, here's one of my water Cotteens. There we go, defense, HP, recovery, and then let's go down. Where is it? And then here's my last two Cotteens. Defense, HP, recovery, and the other one I believe is defense, HP, recovery as well. I do have them all on defense, HP, recovery. If I were to change some of them, maybe the Cotteens I would change to HP, defense, defense, just to give them a bit more survivability and focus on recovery subs or a recovery set. But yeah, they do pretty well for now. I don't see a need to improve them at the moment, but eventually I might have to. Honestly, I'm just waiting until I get Bast so that I can just start replacing them all, because Bast is so good. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and all that. Now I'm going to go work on notes for other mons. I have notes for like 7 more videos ready to go. I'm going to do other comparisons too. Between other mons that I want to compare, I should mention this now because there are some other mons that are just like Cotteen and Mildew that have the same skills. That being Squirus and Chirapti, however the hell you pronounce that thing. The Firewater Woods, for those, they have the exact same skills, so I want to compare them. Also because some of them are usable. And then Piote, which I don't know if that's how you pronounce it either. Piote and Gargor have the same skills as well. So I'll definitely do a video about those because some of them are useful too. But yeah, anyway, gonna end it off there. Look forward to those videos. I don't know if they're gonna be the next videos to come out, but they are videos that I'm working on that I wanted to let you guys know about. But yeah, have yourselves a good day, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.